first thing that he did was said, "Hey, we're going to, you guys have all this intel, so I'm gonna take a bunch of it and farm it out to other SEAL teams." Which initially, of course, we're pissed about, right? But what wound up happening then is we had our guys all over the country, right? We had like this network that was unbeatable, right? Because we had guys in the green zone with all of all the organizations that get retracted in your books. We had guys with a bunch of the SEAL teams, and so it gave us this web of access to information that was kind of unmatched in the country at the time, which we needed because we showed up and we were not replacing another. We weren't replacing anybody. And normally, when you'll do a RIP TOA, a new unit shows up, you have somebody that's like, hey, here's all the targets that we didn't get to execute, or here's all of the target packages that we're building, but we're not there yet. Mm-hmm. So we didn't have any of that. So we were told, hey, make your own luck, essentially. Mm-hmm. And it was the intel guys that did that, to a man. So they started, calling between each other, and it really, the first mission that we did, not your typical, not your typical mission, but it was evolved from one of the intel analysts who was just pouring through intel reports and found that a note that an Iraqi interpreter who was working with the U.S. had been murdered. And he was like, wait a minute, I thought I read about another interpreter. And so he starts digging through and came to realize that like 17 Iraqi interpreters had been killed over a pretty short span of time. And as, intel guys do, he started making like a map and realized that there was like 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, right? All pointed to this one other interpreter. Mm-hmm. So like all of them were connected. And the interpreter in question was a woman. So we get called in and they're like, hey, the first mission that we're going to do, is we've got to go find this woman. So all the team leaders are, hey, I want to do it. I want to do it. I was the junior team leader at the time. I mean, most of the other guys had been in a little longer than me, but I had also been the guy that was, doing anytime there was a reconnaissance mission or anytime there was kind of an oddball tasking, during training. I'm like, hey, we'll do it. We'll do it. Mm-hmm. And so this time I'm like, hey, fuck you guys, right? This is right up our alley. So I wound up taking myself, I took a SEAL with me who had some familiarity with the area, who had been there for a while, one of our human folks. And because we were dealing with a woman, we had to borrow a female operator from the GROM, from the Poles. So it was absolutely, the first Marine mission in SOCOM was a coalition effort. Wow. Right, so we're in broad daylight, civilian clothes, some rental cars that we had lifted from the rental lot at Baghdad International, just cruising through downtown Baghdad to locate the contract companies' facilities. Stop in there, talk to them, and they give us the woman's location, which is another half hour outside of Baghdad. And I'm on the sat phone with Craig saying, hey, sir, let us proceed. He's like, yeah, go. So, she's not working there. To go to another place, she's not working there. The third place that she tells us that she had worked there up until, 2 days ago and she'd quit, which seems a little suspicious anyway. We were able to convince them to tell her to come in and pick up her last paycheck. And so, a couple hours later, she comes rolling through the gate with a man driving the vehicle, walks in the building, and Kate, the Polish GROM operator, the Poles are a little more hands-on, generally speaking, than we are. Mm-hmm. So next thing you know, this lady comes out, sandbag on her head, cuffed, stuffed into the car. We grabbed the guy as well and brought him back with us. And at that point, we were still able to run our own interrogation facility. This was before Abu Ghraib kind of changed things. But, the that people were much safer, I think, in our facilities than they were in Abu G. But it quickly became apparent to us that the lady she was responsible, but unwittingly responsible. So she had, it was like a reverse honeypot thing. Guy had met her, started, asked her out, and then started saying, hey, can you give me I need to hire some interpreters. I work with Americans. Can you give me either like a home phone roster and recall roster? So this guy was, just going around clipping them. So once she found that out, she became, like the hell hath no fury, like a woman scorned sort of thing. And was like, pointed us to his house, his place of business. And so our first real kind of mission was rolling him up. Pulled him out of his house, his business. We found, a bunch of bomb making materials and things like that. And that, started just leading, building the chain. So that from there, we were never at a lack of missions. So, we kind of made our own luck, all based on the back of or the mind anyway, of an intel analyst that just wouldn't quit,
Wow. If you enjoyed that clip, watch the full episode here or another clip here.